Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. BJ on Game Day back again for another week. As always, you've got Brent Bogan
and
and
and no Josh King.
no Josh King or any special guest host this week. Bogues, how are we, mate?
Yeah, can't complain. I wish I'd done a little bit better, um, given the opportunity to catch up a few points, but it didn't seem to happen for me. So, yourself?
Yeah, look, round 13 bye week, obviously the first bye round of the year, so a big one, obviously plenty of attention on it. Like you said, people looking to jump some places there, and I think it was a pretty big week. There were some big scores out there, Bogues. I only ended up with 718 points myself, so what, top 25%, apparently dropped
Oh,
3K
well,
in the rankings.
yeah, and I got about 800 and something. But spoiler for our group, there's some people that got 1200s. It's like, fucking hell, they're scoring better than I do on a regular week, some of the people in the group. So,
Yeah, no, it was a really good bye week, especially with those Parramatta boys to finish the weekend off as well. So yeah, look, there's plenty of moving and shaking that was done. It wasn't done by me. I was dying and convulsing on the ground somewhere else. But look, Bugs, still, just I don't really know what to make of this season. Might just worry about draft a bit more now. But now,
well,
look, all the attention turns to the run home. Obviously, we've got the round 17 bye. We have a super trade week, which happens between round 15 and round 16 with the rep round weekend that we have off. So five trades between round 15 and 16, and obviously Origin happening tomorrow night. So it starts to get interesting now. It's all about getting those guys, I guess, for the run home, and obviously those guys that will also play round 17. So we'll have a bit of a chat about some of those guys, and yeah, have a look at the week that was,
yeah.
Bogues.
Hello to everyone in the chat. Can I just first start by saying, who was saying it? Benny, mate. I'm always on fucking time, every week. It's Brent Hampton and our selection of cohorts that usually holds the show up. So it's yeah. But how's everyone doing in the chat? We've got the usuals, it seems. Well, Adro and Benny,
Yeah, evening, gents. Good to see you. Thanks for
Stuart
joining us as always.
Wallace.
Stewie, how are you, brother?
Yeah. All right.
I might share it out.
Should we go into the results for last week?
Yeah, let's jump in the week that was, Bogues. And to start the round off, it was a cricket score. It was St George running away with it against Brisbane in the end. It was a bit of a contest for the first half, Bogues. It was a late try to St George right on the buzzer, basically. That proved pretty costly.
Well, it seemed to be the
Um,
Matt Duffy show. Earlier in the week, he was told basically we don't have a spot for you at St George, and that seems to have fucking fired him up a bit. And he's went out there and he's fucking given it to him.
Yeah, massive week for Big Dufty with the 5 try assists, scored a double, had his hand in plenty of line break assists with that. So 156, massive score at the start of the round. Obviously, for anyone that made the switch from Teddy to him or whatever it was, he's only in 1% of teams as we speak at this moment. So whether he's actually made his way into a few more since lockout ended, I'm not sure, but. Ultra pod for the buy round and massive for anyone that had him. Absolutely delicious for any of those people that decided to jump on the duff. Joshy Kerr as well turned up, which was pretty big. He was probably pretty lowly owned as well, Bogues, I would have to imagine. Jackie Bird also pretty big. He was sort of a bit of a for me, one of the better targets around 12, and he produced. I didn't actually bring him in, funnily enough, but he started in the back row as well. So he scored a try, if I'm not mistaken. But he was good. Yeah, Ben Hunt was good. I was thinking about bringing Maddo and Marnie myself, and then I guess the news about Marnie with Origin, I was a bit unsure, so I decided to bring in Ben Hunt and
I
Ravalawa.
kept
Um,
Mahoney and they now haven't put a date on his return with that injury. So we'll get into that when we get to Parramatta, but that's fucked me in the hooker position. So we'll have to see.
Well, and as it turned out, with not going Maddo, I mean, I think he went just under the ton, but I think Ben Hunt's been called into camp now. I don't even know if he's going to play this week. So I looked at the Dragons draw, obviously playing Brisbane. They play the Dogs this week, and I thought, go a bit of pod in Benny Hunt and Ravalawa. It didn't really pay off, but Benny Hunt wasn't terrible, so that was all right. Corey Norman also looked pretty good. I think he's in a bit of form at the moment as well, old Corey. But yeah, it was the Dragons getting it done pretty emphatically in the end. It reminded me of
Benny.
under 20s game.
Benny, I did see that tweet from NRL Physio assessment of the injury being 3 to 6 weeks for Mahoney. But I think the more important news is that the Eels have said that they're not putting a time frame on it at this stage. So NRL Physio, as good as he is, at the moment you'd have to say it's not looking good if you got him in your team. But yeah.
Oh, yeah, so probably dodged a bullet there, but if Ben
you have
back up, it'll be the same shit. So anyway, on the Broncos side of the field, it was Albert Kelly that top scored with a 93. So if you jumped on him, well done. Probably I can't imagine there was a heap of people that jumped on Albie, but he scored. Had his hand in 3, had a couple line break assists, and big TC Rabati as well, across for a double. He also got Sinman as well.
Yeah, well you were talking him up last week. TC.
Yeah, so. He did look really good. Scored a couple of tries, I think, with his first touch, ran a nice line as well. But just a big old monster of a thing, and yeah, he's probably got a big future. Lodge, Pangai were pretty solid as well. Fremont had those guys for the bye, but nothing too special to write home about. Otherwise, Asako is probably the big one out of that, Bogues. There's a lot of people on Asako. He didn't produce. He ended up getting hooked before the end of the game, and my understanding is he's been dropped for this week also. So that's a big one. He's probably looming as a pretty big sell as well.
Can I say there's not really many tears in my beer when the Broncos are fucking shit.
Yeah, so I mean, it's quite interesting. There's some rumours of Dufty going to the Broncos, which means obviously don't see a future for Asako at fullback, which I thought was quite interesting. There's also some rumours now floating around that Dufty possibly Canberra might be interested and they're willing to move on CNK as a result, which I think is just insane. But yeah, Dufty, I don't know what St. George don't see in him, whether it's that defensive, something defensively or something like that. Oh. But I mean, you put him in a top 4 side and he'd be talked about as one of the best fullbacks in the game. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with young Matt Dufty, because I think he's I've sort of said it all year, really. He's a quality player and just keeps developing each year year on year.
Yeah, well, another high-scoring affair, but on to the next game. Now, I picked this, and you fucking laughed at me last week. You and Adro.
What's that? I can't see shit. What's going on?
Oh, okay, you can't see?
What's the next game?
The next game was the Tigers getting up over the Panthers 26-6. And I said, are the Tigers a chance against the weakened Panthers? And he just fucking laughed at me.
I don't think I laughed at you.
I think he laughed maniacally like a supervillain. But
maybe.
But the Tigers getting up against half the Panthers.
Yeah, look, and the Panthers were terrible. I think early on they defended pretty well.
And I don't think if you're a Panthers fan, you should be too concerned when half your team's missing through Origin.
Yeah, look, like I said, they defended well early, and it looked like they were going to be right, but the attack was extremely clunky and obviously pretty emphasised by the fact they only scored 6 points in this game. Look, the Tigers deserved the win. The Panthers were ordinary at best. Like, not only did they have the players out, but, I mean, they still could have won this game. It's just on the day they also failed to turn up. It wasn't like, they were outplayed and they played well. They played terrible. So, Obviously missing most of your spine there is gonna hurt. But most people,
most of the spine, both halves. It's like, yeah. Oh well.
Anyway, I mean, it's a good experience for some of those young blokes. Credit to the Tigers. Twiley top scored with 77. Jason Little, I don't know how he made it as far as he did in that try, Bogues. I don't know if you saw that one where he ended up with his ball in his hands with about 80 or 90 metres to run, and there was Charlie Staines was nowhere to be found. No one could run him down. It was quite funny. Massive performance from the Tigers. Big Stefano found that had him. He scored a nice junk sort of garbage try as well to bump his score up pretty nicely. Luciano was pretty good. Dane Laurie scored a try and only 54 points. Adam Dew was pretty quiet out in the centre there. But, like I said, I think the Tigers deserved it. Nofo, pretty disappointing, Bogues. Did you say you brought Nofo in last week as well for the bye?
No, I didn't. I brought in Adam Dewey last week, and he played like shit.
He scored a little bit more than Nofo, so that's all right.
Yeah.
On Penny side of the field, obviously Matty Burton top scored. He scored their only try. James Fisher-Harris, 59, and then Billy Kickow, who I actually checked the captaincy on, thinking he might be good for a pile or two. But Luciano marked up on him well, and they shut him down pretty good. Otherwise, nothing really to write home about. Obviously, Staines was sort of
it
annoyed.
It is a shame the players were out because as dominant as they are, it's entertaining to watch the Panthers play when they're full strength.
Well, I mean, it's poised an interesting question. Obviously, they're undefeated going into this game, and they now obviously have lost. And people talking about, the impact of Origin, and they'll feel this for, the next 6 to 8 weeks, potentially, if not more, depending on what happens in Origin, if there's injuries or suspensions. But where Origin is best placed, it's always traditionally been in the middle of the year, and obviously last year we saw it at the back end for other reasons. But when you see this sort of thing, it's sort of, I don't know. Obviously, it's good to test clubs' depth and
I was going to say,
give young blokes an opportunity. But the Panthers were probably building for something pretty special. They might only lose this one game all year. But anyway.
Next up, team that doesn't really worry during this period, the Melbourne Storm. They got up over Titans just.
Yeah, didn't actually catch this one. I was looking at live updates. From all accounts, it was the Titans to lose, really. They just had some opportunities from what I could gather, and they didn't quite take them. Apparently, there was a couple of bomb passes as well, or people that, well, it wasn't bomb passes that weren't actually made from Brian Kelly. So, Melbourne got it done in the end, 20-14. I don't know how convincing it was. As I said, wasn't watching it. A few of the popular guys there scored pretty well, considering obviously Brandon Smith with a pie. Nico Hines, I think, wasn't going amazing for the majority of the game and got some late points, or had a hand in some points there, some attacking stats, which was good. Jerome Hughes as well, nothing special. I think a lot of people obviously expected big points in this one from the Melbourne Storm players, so I guess pretty conservative, considering, the run you look at with Hines and Hughes the last few weeks as well. But it was pretty quiet across the park otherwise.
Well,
we had the much highly anticipated debut of Greg Marzoo, Bogues. That's Benny's man. He's previously gone by the name of Greg Liliasano or something like that, and he's been a highly touted cheapie for a number of years, and he finally got his crack, and I think he's had an absolute blinder, Bogues. He scored? Did he score a double, or did he score? What did he get? Let me have a quick look here. He scored a try. He had 35 points in base. He must have 1,000 tackle busts because, awesome stat line. And he is a bottom dollar cheapie. He's got a massive negative break even. It'll be interesting to see what happens with his spot. And obviously, Titans played this week, so they won't play round 17. But good debut from Marzoo. Herbert was good, peachy there, but again, nothing super special on a bye week that some people might have hoped for. Needing a spike out of a couple of pods, whether it was a Remy Smith or people bringing in George Jennings or whoever it was for this game. Kenny Bromwich as well. I'm not sure what happened there, but Yeah, well done to the Titans. They were sort of in it, but couldn't get the job done in the end. And Jaden Campbell. I might actually want to go have a look at this one. The debut of Campbell apparently did pretty well as well.
Yeah, 48. It's not a bad trot. And then finally, your Knights getting a bit of a touch up there from the Eels. That being said, 40 points to 4 this year isn't that big of a blowout. It could have been 70 points to 4.
Pretty disappointing. Obviously, Old Boys Day. They had the 20-year anniversary of the 2001 Premiership. So I think the highlight of the afternoon for me was when they were showing the highlights from that grand final, which was great to see. Suck ass Benny. But yeah, Old Boys Day. Newcastle absolutely humiliated in front of their home crowd on Old Boys Day in front of all those boys. Sivo top scored 124. He absolutely monstered us. Gutho was in everything. Waka Blake turned up. Maddo scored the first try of the game just to rub salt in the wounds there of me not bringing him in. I think Marnie set him up as well, so I just thought, yeah, it's my year. I was going Marnie Maddo. They take on Newcastle on the first try as Maddo through Marnie, so that was great. Kurt Mann, I don't know how he's top scored for us. If this bloke's a genuine half. He's not a genuine half. I don't know what Adam O'Brien's smoking, or he must have naked pictures of him or something for this bloke to continually be getting a run in the halves. Clifford obviously debuted and wasn't too effective, but it's got to be Watson and Clifford. Get man out of there. He just stifles everything. Yeah, pretty disappointing. Obviously, any of those para owner people brought in Gutho would be really happy with that one. They just pumped us, and it was just poor. I guess no excuses. Obviously, with the players we had out, and Parramatta had virtually full strength. Just stupid football. We're trying to tackle Sivo low 5 minutes out from the try, and you're not going to stop him doing that sort of shit. Same with mate. That's just stupid football.
Especially Sivo, that dude's getting bigger every week. His legs are like fucking tree trunks. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably 14 or something. Old Sivo. Where's the birth certificate? But yeah, look, they destroyed us. Hayes Dunster as well scored a try. Only scored 38 points. So I thought he was going to score 3, given he replaced Fergo, but he didn't. Dill Brown was all right in his return with 62, but I mean, a team that scored 40 points obviously expect to see a few high scores, and there was. So plenty of people happy about that one, and a great way to finish the weekend and where a lot of these big scores came from, Bogues. If you think plenty of people had Gutho and chucked a sound on him, there would have been quite a few people that were on Sivo as well. He was at 15% ownership.
And Waka Blake obviously is a fucking viewer of the show, and he's heard some of the shit that gets talked about him, and that's fired him up, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. So Michael Blake's turned up as well. Even a broken clock is right twice a day. And that was it. Otherwise, pretty... Oh, shout out to Bradman Best, buy of the year for me. I mean, I've made some great buys, but Bradman Best, top of the pile with 16 there in the bye week. So,
but is he worth picking up now?
Fuck no.
No?
Fuck no. Get rid of him. Don't touch him. Newcastle have nothing, no shape, nothing doing. Obviously, with a few guys out, Pierce, hopefully back in a couple of weeks, no Pollard, no, just terrible use of him, not giving him any footy, not giving him any space. Copped a few fucking hospital balls from man.
Yeah.
He's just, wearing a bit of all sorts here, so.
The Knights are having the same year as my Supercoach, it seems. But,
yeah, so.
All right, on to next week. No Thursday, because there's a Monday game.
No, we got Origin tomorrow night, Bogues. That's why we have no Thursday night game.
Well, and there's also a Monday game because it's a public holiday for the Queen's birthday.
Correct, yes. So we do have Origin tomorrow night, which I'm absolutely frothing for, keen as for that. And as I said, as a result, we got no game on the Thursday, and will be very interesting. Plenty of people interested in this one. Quite interesting that it's the Sea Eagles of all teams because it's Tommy Trbojevic. The rumours are at the moment they're looking to back up because it's Bobby Fulton's memorial game.
They announced earlier tonight that they'll be wearing their heritage jerseys for it. So There we go.
So
Manly fans not having to wait for Heritage Week, playing their traditional rivals, the North Queensland Cowboys. Bob Filton played a lot of games against the Cowboys.
Yes, in 1995, whatever it was. But yeah, Tommy Trbojevic, obviously a big one with a heel back up. You'd have to imagine he'll play a big part tomorrow night. So it'll be interesting to see how hopefully he pulls up. I think Jakey Trbojevic was always going to back up, and I believe DC was hoping to as well.
Does it need to be said? Like I don't think my advice is the best to take on Supercoach. I'm just here to push the buttons. But keep your eye on team lists this week, people, before every game, just to see if those Origin players are going to be in or whether they're last-minute withdrawals. Because I'm looking at a few players, like straight away I see that and it's like, will Val Holmes play?
Yeah, obviously Val Holmes is another big one that everyone will be wondering about as well. So, they got Kyle Felt in there also. They also got, yeah. So, yeah, you're right, Bogues. I think you're going to be on the buzzer. I think the nice thing about this one in particular, it's the first game, so you can do a bit of planning and work around that. But it'll be hard throughout the weekend, depending on how it sort of unfolds around guys that do and don't back up, because it could stitch you up if, you're in a position where it's one of the last games of the round and you're unable to really do anything. So if you can sort of hold those trades until the very last second, do that. I wouldn't be trading, before Thursday game if your players you're trading aren't playing till Sunday or whatever it'll be. Just do the smart thing. What else? Lolo is back as well. So Lolo's an interesting one, Bogues, whether you think he's a keeper for the run home or not. I'm not sure
it's
on
hard
Lolo at the moment.
But also, I'm a big fan of Francis Molo. So, yeah, he's a sneaky one that you might want to keep an eye on if you're looking. I don't know what he's priced at the moment. But he's 17 at the moment, but he'll get more minutes than playing off the bench. That's for sure. They'll rotate him for sure.
Yeah, so look, Lolo's at 567k with 123 break even, and in his last month of footy, he's had a 39, a 101, a 53, and a 42. And the last couple of weeks he's played 60 minutes at least, but yeah, the output's just not there. The PPM that we're used to seeing from old Lolo's not there, so he's probably a watch.
He has shown that he's still capable of it. That's the thing. There's something, I don't know, something psychological going on there.
Well, he's still on a big contract there as well, so I don't know what's going on there, but anyway, you can look at, I think Lolo's probably one of the big ones people will look at, but Tommy Dearden will debut for the Cowboys as well this weekend, pairing up with Drinkwater in the halves. Gilbert is a few of the guys saying Gilbert's starting at prop.
Cherry Evans, I know not many people have him and he's not very good for Supercoach, but if you do have him, keep an eye just to make sure he's in there as well.
Yeah, Gilbert's at 350k, playing about 45, 50. He played 55 last week, point per minute. Yeah, so it'll be interesting. Like I said, Lolo's probably a standout, but you might find a couple of guys that might go under the radar, like even Shane Wright's been pretty decent. You probably missed the boat on because the last sort of month of Shane Wright has not been... The last month? Maybe not. He had a good game last week, but Shane Wright's playing 80 minutes in the back row there. He's at 370k. So, you have to have a close look. It's just sort of, you can't really trust Peyton either. He's a bit loose. He's just doing anything with those team lists, obviously. So it makes it a little bit hard to pick anyone up. But we'll have a look at Lolo in particular. But yeah, it'll be the big one is whether those Origin guys back up, and obviously no Joshy Schuster in that Manly side either, which is a pretty big one. He still has that injury calf concern. I think it is that's going to keep him out for at least this week and maybe another week or two after that. But play it by ear with that one.
Second Friday game, Sharks vs Panthers.
Yeah, another one that'll be interesting in terms of what guys back up. Obviously, saw Penrith last week without their Origin players, so I'm sure if guys like Luai and Cleary pull up all right, they'll be pretty keen to get out there. Um, because the Sharks are a team that's sort of, as funny as it sounds, pretty full strength and playing not bad at the moment. So, like I said, this one will be interesting. I haven't named any of those guys, or Appy's been named there, but no, all the guys, To'o, Catewell, Luai, Cleary, Martin, Yo, have all been named in the extended bench. So it'll be interesting, as I said, to see how these boys back up and whether they actually make their way into the side. And again, I guess we're a little bit spoilt this week because if that's a game that's played on Sunday or even Monday, it would be fucked because you would be potentially having to take a punt on whether Cleary would be playing or whoever Luai would be playing or To'o and put them in your team somehow if you didn't have the ability to put the R on them. And you wouldn't have the luxury of being able to find out early, but we will find out early, so that's really good. That helps. Obviously, with the Cronulla side of the field, Bogues, these are some guys now you can look to bring in if you're happy enough with them and think they could be, either keepers for the run home or will at least play round 17. So there's people looking at Jesse Ramian, Sean Johnson. As I said, I'd be love to see Soy Sauce Talakai get a start, but I can't see it happening unless Wade Graham gets injured or Nakora gets injured. But Wade Graham is as glass as anyone, so he's only one head knock away from a big stint on the sidelines. So yeah, whether you like a double on someone like a Kennedy or something like that, and we touched on it last week. Pretty much after this week, the Sharks' run gets real juicy. They don't play a decent team until Melbourne in round 25. So have a close look at those Sharkies. I'll have a close look at SJ. Obviously, plenty of people looking at Ramian. Maybe Kennedy would be a real massive pod as well. But yeah, fingers crossed Talakai could get a start. But yeah, probably won't happen. What else? And Big Andrew Fafita has found his way on the bench as well. So we may see Big Fifi back in there on the weekend as well. So that'll be interesting.
He can come on and punch someone in the head or something.
Yeah. So the first game on the Saturday will be the Titans taking on the Chooks. And again, same narrative, whether these Origin guys will back up. So you've got guys like Tino, Fifi, Mofo, Brumo, all been named at this point in the starting side. Likewise with the Chooks in Tedesco. Crichton obviously will be back from suspension. He won't be playing Origin, which is nice. But yeah, obviously Teddy will be a big one, but yeah, plenty of names in that Titan side, in particular in that forward pack. I think Jaden Campbell, from all reports, is pretty good last week, so I don't think there'll be an issue there with Brimo missing another week. But I don't think the Titans can really afford to have guys like Tino and Fifi and Mofo missing. Although that said, they were pretty good last week without them, weren't they, against Melbourne? So, again, it's pretty hard to bring in any of these Titans guys. They won't play around 17. But you can start to have a look at these Roosters boys. So, whether it's guys like Sammy Walker that you've held on to or whatever, Satili's a good one, depending on what happens with Boyd Cordner. My understanding was Boyd Cordner was due back around this time, so I'm not sure what's doing there, but just keep an eye on Boyd Cordner to find out whether Satili will be worth it. But, he looks really good. Hopefully Daniel Tupu doesn't end up getting picked for Origin, but I guess the issue with him is if you bring him in and there's any injury to a winger, whether it's a To'o or a Addo Carr, he'll come straight in, I'd have to imagine. Joseph Manu hasn't been amazing this year, Supercoach-wise, but maybe Kavalu is a bit of a pod. I don't know whether, if Tedesco doesn't back up, we might see Manu to fullback and Swiley come in, so just keep an eye on that because Swiley's still on that extended bench, but hopefully he gets a run through round 17 as well through Origin, and I have to assume he will with Teddy missing at least. So, what else have we got, Bogues? Probably not much else, unless you want to add anything on any of that.
No. So Saturday, my boys up against yours.
Jeez. Yeah, South Sydney taking on Newcastle. No good. Oh, God. All right. Yeah, it'll be again where the guys like Latrell back up. I assume Latrell will back up. Maybe it depends on how they pull up, obviously. But now you can start to have a look at some of these South boys as well. Obviously, Cody Walker's probably a big one. Hasn't I don't think he even was in the squad anywhere. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys in the chat. But Cody Walker's probably a big target now at 5'8" there. Even if there's an injury, I think Whiten probably goes in if it's a 5'8" position. I guess the utility spot off the bench would be interesting with no Pappy. It looks like Pappy's head issues are pretty bad, a lot worse than we first thought as well. But yeah, I still think Cody Walker's still a big buy, and obviously with guys like Mitchell back, they get that combination working again.
What do you think about? So I had Mahoney in my team, and he's obviously out for 3 to 6 weeks if NRL physios to go off. What do you think about the swap to Cookie? Do you think he's prime?
Nah, I don't know.
He's pretty low price, that's the thing.
He'll have a big workload in Origin, Bogues. Like, he'll be making plenty of tackles. He's in the middle of everything. Yeah, he's come off a ton, but he's been really inconsistent this year. I mean, he could be one of the guys that comes out of Origin on a high. It could be that sort of thing, but I wouldn't be worrying about it. I know he's cheap. He's right. You're right. He's only 475k with a low break even, but I personally wouldn't, Bogues. He's been a bit inconsistent. They don't really need him.
But you could keep him for the rest of the year. Like, you just chuck him in there and then that's it. You don't have to worry about the position for...
Yeah, I mean, if you think he's a keeper, then I'm sure this is probably a good time. You obviously want to make sure he backs up for a start, because you don't want to bring him in this week and then he doesn't fucking play and you've already traded him in, as I said. So we can hold that trade. Parramatta don't play till after South, so I guess you would have the opportunity to do that if you wanted to, Bogues. But yeah, as I said, it's a little bit... you're obviously going to miss him for round 17 as well, even though the Souths do play round 17, and then whether he backs up the following week in round 18 against the Dogs as well. So, you potentially have that to deal with. So as long as you've got someone else there. But I don't think Cookie would have been this cheap for a very long time, but there's probably a reason for that. I mean, he's had 3 tons this year, but plenty of 40s and 50s in between that. So, Alex Johnson's another one, Bogues. Now they got that left side connection. Where is he? Johnston. 460k at a 1 break even. So he's either going to get you 120 or he's going to get you 20 potentially. But I think that left edge is one of the most potent, obviously, in the NRL. Obviously, the combination there with Reynolds out to Walker, out to Latrell, and Johnson finishes it all off. He's probably a good shout. South's next 6 weeks, will realistically for the run home is pretty good. But in particular, the next sort of 6 weeks, Bogues, they play Newcastle, Brisbane, Tigers, Cowboys, Dogs, Warriors, Dragons, and then they play Parrot in round 21. So guys like Alex Johnson, Cody Walker, I think are some good targets. In the forward pack, they probably don't offer a heap. You could look at guys like Colomatani, but he's been called into camp as well. He's only one injury away from getting a run. Old Keenan and Colomatani, who's on a bit of a tear, but otherwise their forwards aren't too relevant. Obviously, Cam Murray, is playing Origin as well. So it's more those backline guys. Maybe a Campbell Graham is a bit of a pod as well. I don't know whether he got called into camp, boys. Anyone in the chat? If he's in camp, there's a chance he'd be in camp, but when he's been real quiet on that right edge, they tend to favour that left edge, obviously, but you can go on little tears as well out of nowhere.
And Bradman Best to turn up this week because you put the mocker on him earlier.
Oh, 100%. If I'm trading him, put the sound in. Obviously, like I said, that left edge is heavily featured in the Rabbits attack, but even Mansell's pretty expensive. I thought if these guys were sub 400, they wouldn't be a bad shout, but just given they won't see much ball on that right edge, it's pretty sporadic. It might be one game in 4. I think you're pretty comfortable going with AJ and Walker a bit more easily. He's in camp. Cheers, Ados. I would have thought so. I think Fittler's a bit of a fan of him as well. And the Newcastle side, Bogues, I don't really know what to say. I don't. That's like a reserve grade side at best. Kurt Mann and Simmons, holy Tuala on the wing, holy dooly. Musgrove plays on the left, which means you're going to get Tuala playing on the right, and he's not really played much wing. And if Kurt Mann's defending next to him on the right, which he should, because Bradman's a left side centre, holy dooly, we could be in big trouble. Fitzgibbon's also left, if I'm not mistaken. So you've potentially got Brodie Jones, Kurt Mann, Tex Hoy, with either Jake Clifford or Phoenix Crossland. Holy dooly, you could score 70 points. That said, I said that against Manly a couple of weeks ago, and we come out and beat them. But what I was expecting was Newcastle from last week to come out.
Well, yeah.
But Anyway, I think this could be, 40 plus bash into the
When's that on?
Rabbitohs.
When's that on? Saturday.
Yeah, 5:30 on Saturday.
Yeah, if you didn't have a squealing kids, I'd come over and sit on the couch and.
I've actually got a big thing on this season, my weekend off, so I'll be having a big one actually. It's keen. Connor Watson on the bench as well. Barnett.
What the? Where's Ados? Yeah, once again, Connor Watson, your best player, sitting on the bench.
Yeah, madness. Look, we got a couple of those boys there trying to back up with DSAF. That's actually it. Ponga's out, but yeah, we're in a bit of a world of hurt. We've lost our identity. I don't know what
are your thoughts comments that came out this week that Newcastle's coach, keep forgetting his name, he came out and said that Ponga being rushed into camp before that injury was right has probably extended it.
I just get sick hearing the name Kalen Ponga sometimes anymore. I mean, he gets talked up so much. He's getting paid millions of dollars, and fuck me, how many games has he played since he's signed with us? Like, I've said it previously and a few times. Who would you rather, buddy? Pappy on probably 750 or Ponga on $1 million plus? You're going to take Pappy every day of the week. Obviously, the beauty of hindsight, but he has turned out to be a massive stink. Like, the injury proneness of him, I'm absolutely filthy. And he's the first fucking bloke they pick in Origin, even though he hasn't played. So, not the first bloke, but you know what I mean? It's just killing us. And then you can see what's going to happen. He's going to play out this contract and go and play union or do something else, and we'll have got nothing out of him. And, we'll just be fucked once he leaves. Because obviously when he plays for us, he's pretty important and everything goes through him, but he still goes missing. Like I said, he's very injury prone. He's still got plenty to learn. But fuck me. Like I said, I can see him just fucking off to union or doing something like that, and it'll be the John saga all over again, and we'll just rely on one bloke, and we're going to be fucked if Tex Hoy is their only backup.
Well, you do have Jack Johns there on the bench.
Fucking Jack Johns. We need a miracle. We need, like, COVID to run through the other 15 clubs to be any chance. But yeah, so look, I don't want to back against my boys. I'm not suggesting that. I'm suggesting we get pumped. So I think we will get pumped. We're in for another rude shock, unless there's some wet weather around. It's pissing down in Canberra most of the week and weekend, Bogues, pretty much. So I don't know what's happening around Sydney and shit like that. Well, it might be something else just to keep an eye on, guys. What the weather's doing, whether you're going to chuck captaincies on guys or bring them in, but yeah, I'll be surprised if we're within 30 points of Souths in this one.
Interesting selection at number 6. Return of the Michael.
Yes, Cunt is back. Comma K Hunt, sorry. What's doing? This is like another fixture that, holy badooly, you've got
Carmichael Hunt and Albert Kelly in their halves.
Bailey Simonson at fullback.
Do you think the Raiders might be in danger of getting caught up in the cobwebs between that halves pairing? Like,
oh mate, who knows? Obviously, a couple of old boys in there. I thought Cobbo was good, Bogues. Actually, I didn't watch heaps. I didn't watch the Melbourne game, but what I saw of Cobbo, he actually looked real good. He's big, he's strong, he's pretty quick. So there's some exciting sort of prospects there if they're losing codes, and Cobbo looked really good.
That being said, mate, taking the piss out of Carmichael Hunt, he'll be keen to impress. So keep an eye on him for the first 20 minutes, sort of whether he has that endurance factor anymore. But he's going to put some effort in those early plays, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, team sheet wise, obviously you can look at Raiders for round 17, but I think we've said it before. CHN is probably one of the only ones you'd be looking at, and even then you'd be reluctant just because Ricky's been a bit trigger happy. But obviously Pat Papali's back, but he'll play Origin now. I thought they might have put Josh Hodgson in the halves maybe and put Starling at hooker, but that's not happened. Sam Williams has been, he does the job. He steers them around the park, has an alright kicking game. He's nothing, he's always going to do that. He's pretty steady 7. So, fair enough with what they're going with. I assume Whiten will back up because they just need him to. But, it's a pretty interesting couple team lists there. Like I said, CHN's probably a big look, Bogues. He's probably, like I said, the biggest one. Harawira, he's 460k now, 19 break even. So, and a good next few weeks for them, even though it won't matter because they're not playing amazing footy. I still think he's the kind of player that could, find a pie or two. So next 5 weeks, Raiders-wise, is pretty good, which is a bit disappointing considering they don't have a lot of real viable options. If you held Simonson, you could probably play him this week, obviously named at fullback, but really missing nickel clock star. And let's see what happens in this one. On the Brisbane side, big news with Asako being dropped. They get rid of Walsh because they're going to have Asako as their long-term fullback, or I don't even know. And now he's been dropped, and Herbie Farnworth will go to fullback.
Am I the only one? And this is my nerdism coming out as it always does. Whenever I see Herbie Farnworth, I think of the professor from Futurama. Good news, everyone.
No, I reckon you should have to talk about it through a full segment of one of the team lists. You have to read a full team list out in that voice, Bogues. I like it, but Herbie Farnworth at fullback. Obviously, you can't really look at these Brisbane players too much with the bye, but I don't know. Lodge has made a bit of coin. You can get off him. TPJ, I think, still a hold in the front row. He's got that edge locked down, so that's pretty good. We'll see where the Haas backs up, but even him, I don't think Haas is sort of screaming as must-have in the front row when you got IPAP and TPJ playing out on the edges. So, and obviously with Payne going through Origin, he'll probably be managed a little bit, you'd have to assume. But I wouldn't be bringing any Brisbane players in at this point personally. Maybe Albert Kelly would be making a bit of coin, but it's all about just when you get off some of these guys. So if you got Lodge, if you did bring in Albert Kelly, I don't know who else you might have had that would have been making coin for you. Agree, Shilsey. Alex Glenn is just, what do they call it, a list filler? I don't even know. That bloke needs to pull the pin ASAP.
But would you suspect that Alex Glenn won't spend a lot of time out there when you've got Rabati sitting there on the bench?
Yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they do. Yeah, it's a fair point, how they use him as well. So, I don't know. Glenn's an 80-minute back rower generally, but it sort of epitomises where they're at. You got guys like Rabati. Ricky's defence is terrible, but even like Tessie New hasn't been bad. Like I'd be having Tessie New in there over Copley or Arthur's any day of the week as well. Like it just adds so much more in attack. Yes, the defence isn't great, but it's not like the guys that they're putting in is defending any better. Like they had 50 points put on them last week against St George, for fuck's sake. So anyway,
but I don't know with some of the scores this year. It just seems to blow out. So.
Well, that's a different thing, Bugs. Like I said, it's reminding me of the under-20s a few years ago, the Toyota Cup, where there was no defence. It was all about scoring tries, and now that was why they got rid of it, because there was no defence in the game, and it was just rubbish. But there was like 80-point games every week, and the NRL's sort of going in that direction. And
it's Benny's telling us to move on.
Agreed, Benny. Fair call. Fair play. Fucking get off. But V'landys is loving it. V'landys sitting there in his ivory tower and absolutely thinking this is great.
Oh,
So
he's sipping his Chardonnay while... Yeah.
this could be a good game, folks. Obviously, the Warriors not too affected through the Origin period, and they'll take on Melbourne, who will be, they've named a couple of their guys to back up. Obviously, Munster hasn't played for a while, but he's been named. But you can start to look at the Warriors team list now for that run home, round 17. Tohu Harris obviously stands out, Bogues. He is a massive buy. Get him in as soon as you can. Of all the players that you could bring in, I think he's the one to bring in as soon as possible. He's just a lock, so safe. 630k, 115, 114 break even, whatever. Just get him in. You could wait a week and maybe get him for 30, 40k cheaper, but he's the kind of bloke that just finds a trial line every now and then or does something and just finds an 80 or a 90 pretty easily. So I think Tohu's in. It's good to see Curran named as well, Bo. So anyone that held on to him, he's back now starting lock, which is interesting. He was on the edge. So I'm not sure if there'll be this little sneaky swap with Harris and Curran. We'll see what happens there. Obviously, Walsh is out, which is a bit disappointing. I think Walsh was looming as a really interesting buy now at fullback. But he's copped the suspension, so he'll be out with Roger going back to fullback. There's whether you want to take a punt on someone like Cody Nicarima, who's been in a bit of form this year as well. He's probably had a career best year, and definitely Supercoach scored wise. He's doing that. So he's nearly 600k and a 99 break even. So it's a little bit tricky and taking on Melbourne. But what's his ownership? I wouldn't even know what his ownership is at the moment. Yeah, fair call, Benny. The BE 114 and 30 or 40k could be pretty crucial at this time of the year, and how you're shaping some things. So, who else is there that might step out? I haven't had a close look at these, like Rocco Berry or Cozzy, who's coming in with Shep going a fullback with Walsh out. But maybe there's a sneaky cheapie in there somewhere. Edward Cozzy. He's bottom dollar, but he doesn't really produce too much. Rocco Berry is 204k. Yeah, I wouldn't be touching him either. Jeez. He's 204k, 51 break even, but might score 25, 50 points with a try sort of thing. AFB is an interesting one, ADOS. He's just that sort of front row. He's only going to play probably 55-ish minutes. Maybe he gets a better role in this side coming back from injury. It might take him a little while. But, of anyone else, he would probably be the only other one I'd be really thinking about would be AFB. And you might get him cheap in a couple of weeks. He's 500k with a 93 break even. If he only pumps out a 50 this week, he could be seen in mid-400s sort of thing next week. And maybe a high break even, a decent break even again. So have a look. He's the kind of guy who can just get you a 50, but his game's so Supercoach, friendly, conducive with his offloading and his tackle busts. And if we see him take a bit more of a senior role or leadership role in that Warriors pack, maybe we start to see a few extra minutes out of him, hopefully. But there is a lot of mouths to feed in that Warriors pack would be the only concern.
Shields asking, is Hines a sell yet? I would say no until Pappy comes back.
Agree. And he's scoring points. Like he's 900k with 117 break even, but he could hit that or exceed that this week. And holy dooly, I mean, you look at his last month, his last 5 weeks have been 96, 182, 138, 156, 73.
I say definitely he's a sell when Pappenhausen comes back, because it's just, Pappy's going to take a lot of those points away from Nico, but I say he's a lock until then.
Well, I mean, you're hoping Pappy's out for the next couple of weeks and then probably post through to round 17, because if Munster doesn't back up, he probably plays 5'8" anyway. But you obviously don't want to see him find a bench spot in the next couple of weeks because he's probably going to bleed some cash, and you might want to hold him till round 18 if Munster doesn't back up or something. But Yeah, at the moment, like you said, Bogues, I think you nailed it. As long as Pap's out, you'll be holding Hines, no rush there. And as I said, my understanding is that Pap is not 100% and still feeling some of these.
That's not good.
Yeah, it's actually been a bit of an issue. So it's sort of one of those ones that's come out of nowhere. We didn't really think too much of it, probably. But yeah, he's still not feeling 100% is the last thing I heard, and that was earlier in the week. So
It was the incident that led to his being out was a nasty one too. So
yeah, and I think it was tied in obviously with like a neck or a shoulder. So if he's aggravated something there, they probably want to be pretty cautious because I mean Hines is unreal. Don't get me wrong, but he's not Pappenhausen there. Pappenhausen at the back's just a crazy, crazy dimension to that Melbourne side. So anyway, yeah, I think Hines is a hold for a bit. Would you sell out if? Would you sell out if Hines or Gutho? Who would you sell? Oh.
Gutho.
Para's run's good. I wouldn't be selling either. Jeez Louise. Para's run the next few weeks is good. Tigers this week, Dogs next week. I'd be at least wanting to hold them for those two. Jeez, that's a tough one. I mean, for the money, you'd be tempted to go Hines just because he's 900k with 100 plus break even, but that's a shit decision to have to make. Let me know what you do, Ados. Yeah, that'll be a tough call. That's a tough one. No Harry Grant's been named on the bench, so that's interesting as well to see whether he'll back up. But it looks like he's going to share that hooking role with Brandon Smith for the rest of the year from everything we've already seen. I think Brandon Smith's pretty effective while he's out there, and Harry Grant obviously adds something when he comes on. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, again, another game we'll have to wait and see with whether these boys back up or not. Whether it'll be Munster. If you've held him all this time, you'll be hoping he backs up. But I guess they get a few extra days as well. But they haven't needed him in the last month, so I can't see Bellamy, worrying too much about sitting him down and Cooper Johns or whoever it is going into the halves to fill those spots for those boys. What are we finishing? What's the next one? We've got Para Tigers. Another interesting one. These two teams obviously just played round 13, so you won't be looking to bring anyone in unless you think they're a keeper for the run home. So it's a little bit tricky, but you will be obviously anyone that you did have. So Gutho owners, Sivo owners, Mado owners, IPAP owners. Be keen to see how these boys go against the Tigers. I mean, it could be a good game of footy. Is it time to sell Dane Laurie, Bogues? I think it might be. I think it's time to move him out over the next couple of weeks. It's not a must do this week. It's not urgent or anything like that. But he's done a job for the first 3 months of the season. He is 520k, and his break even is 28. So you probably don't have to do it this week, but maybe next week he'll be nice and right. Nofo is an interesting one. I don't know. I'll be interested to hear thoughts in the chat as to whether people think Nofo is a keeper for the centre wing this year. I'm not too sure. I think we had to talk about it with last week with Ados. His scoring over the last month hasn't been bad, but yeah, I don't know. He's just not the Nofo. The tries is just not there as much, But no Benji. I don't know. It's just he's not. He's only tonned up once this year and it wasn't a big ton. So, yeah, I'll be interested to know whether people think Nofo is a keeper in the centre wing for the run home. Yeah, I mean, like I said, you'll be looking to probably jump off some of these guys that you've had held for around 13 over the next couple of weeks, but I think this is a good matchup for Para, and you might be able to hold your Tigers guys as well. You guys like Adam Deweys and stuff like that, it's still really hard having him at centre. It's really annoying, actually. But, it looked like Moses and Bly was injured last week, but, yeah, he's backing up. And, yeah, you touched on Marnie, Bogue, so he hasn't been named either, and Lussick will play hooker this week. Paulo looks like he's going to return, so, yeah, Para looking pretty full strength.
And the final game on the Monday, just to make it a pain in the ass for me to get the graphics up for the show next Tuesday.
Yeah, Dogs Dragons, and Dragons obviously just played the bye, so you won't be looking to bring any of those guys in realistically, unless you think they're keepers. But the Dogs do play round 17. There's probably not a heap of options there in that Dogs side to be looking at apart from Thompson. Or maybe a Josh Jackson. The ceiling's not really there. You're probably getting similar out of Thompson and Jackson. I wouldn't be touching anyone else in those dog sides. Just a bit of inconsistency, unless the price is right and really, really, really right. I wouldn't be worrying about it. But yeah, good matchups, obviously, for people that brought those Dragons players in. And one of the main reasons I got on Rubber and Hunt. I wish I got on Dufty. Last week was looking ahead to this matchup as well before they do have their bye. So I'm hoping Ben Hunt does play, and I need those boys to do something this week. So Jack Bird has been named in the back row again. No Tarek Sims there, and Jabellin is back on the bench. I thought he was all right. I don't know if you saw it on the weekend.
My one and only tweet during the week on the BJ GameDay account was telling a journalist to get fucked.
I mean, he was the reason. Well done.
There was a bit of because he got a standing ovation for his return, and it was quite emotional for him, which is fair enough. If you've gone through those troubles and you're getting your life back on track, he's going to be quite emotional. And there was some hipster-ass fucking journalist that made comment that it was inappropriate to give him a standing ovation. So I just said, get fucked. And that was my one and only tweet on the BJ account for this week. So if you are looking for in-depth insights into rugby league news, such as telling journalists to get fucked, at BJ and GameDay Show.
Shout out, Bogues. Love your work. But yeah, I thought he was pretty good. He chopped a couple of blokes in half. He was he's going to be a bit rusty. Albert Kelly sort of stepped in one of their tries, but, I think he'll build up again. It was good to see him out there. And I reckon he's one of the best defenders in the comp a couple of years ago. So keen to see him get back to a bit of match fitness and chopping blokes in half again.
From a football perspective, you think he's going to have something to prove there, for the rest of this season? Don't know if he's Supercoach relevant or not yet, but we'll see.
Yeah, I wouldn't be worrying about him too much just yet, but yeah. I reckon if you think Talau doesn't pass, have a look at Beale. I instantly regretted bringing Ravalawa with Jared Beale inside of him. The bloke is dead set Momorovsky 2.0 or Nikore 2.0, whoever, or Waka Blake. Some of these bloody centres must think they're playing on the wing. It fucking does my head in. It was lucky Ravalawa scored in the end. I think every Dragons backline player scored except for Norman. But it was looking like Rubber wasn't going to get any of it. And fucking Beale. Oh, fucking Beale. They've just brought him in and he's playing inside Rubber, and the bloke does not look outside of him. Massive regret. Anyway. All right. That is going to be round 14, folks.
Alrighty. Sorry, just getting the leagues set up. So this week's top scorer was Burjo's Bulldogs. Madonsky, and he got a 12-16, and that took him all the way to 72.
So that's Damo. He's in a chat as well. So shout out Damo with a big score in the bye week. That's brought him. I think he was saying he was sitting just over 500 overall going into this week. So that's seen him jump nearly 400 spots and big shake in the top 100. So shout out Damo. Well done, mate. I said chucked in the chat in the last few weeks. I can't keep track of it anymore, but well done. A massive score in a bye week, and you've outscored me by 500 points this week. How good is
that? Raz with the Dazzle, he also got a 1200, but he's still sitting He's doing worse than me. Poor old Raz. Hope you're watching still. Then Daniel, 2 girls, 1 KFC bucket. Once again, showing that consistency there with an 1100. Very good score for bye week.
That's young Daniel we got in the chat as well. Shout out Dan Oss. He's on a bit of a tear at the moment. He sent his rankings of the last month, and he's skyrocketed. He's now jumped past me, which wouldn't be hard and an achievement, but he's on the upper, young Danos. So he had Kerr. I think he had, I don't know if he had Dufty, but yeah, he's lit at the moment, young Danos. So well done, mate. Shout out, another good, really, really good score in the bye week. See him jump in the top 10k, mate. So well done. Keep on keeping on, young fella.
Dylan with the Dream Team scored 1,093. And another Benny. We've got a lot of Bennies in the group. Ben RR, and he's scored just over the 1,000 as well to round out the top 5 for the group this week, which takes us to the overall for the group, which is Burjo's Bulldogs. So his big bye round score has taken him to the top of the group.
Yes, he has. He's jumped past young Jetty, and Smick Richards is a pretty new.
Well, he got a fairly large bye week score as well.
So yeah, massive there from Burjo. He has jumped into the leader of the overall group. Well done, mate. And yeah, he's got his eyes on the prize all of a sudden, sitting right just under 100 points ahead of Jetty as well. Smick Richards, shout out to Brendan, whoever that is as well. With 1058 and jumping into 73 as well, so good to see. I thought, is that Eels up inside here? Is that
another great name?
Is that Benny? Is that your brother Benny? Is it Eels up inside you, or was it Lukey? Or Shaggy Squad? Where's Shaggy? Was Shaggy Squad in the preview? Oh, Cameron. Sorry, 10th there, Bogues. He's sitting at 500 inside the top 500 as well. So. Have a look at these guys doing absolutely brilliantly. Keeping on the upper guys, and big sort of month coming up, obviously with the Super Trade Week and around 17 guys in preparation for the big run home.
All right, the All In. Zach, with his team called Zach, creatively. With a 987, followed by Extra Reckless Alex with a 982. Sai's always up there with a 939. Sweetie Sachs, Maddie with a 924. And Sambo with Hard Picks with a 874, rounding out the top 5 there.
Yeah, well done, guys. You've all scored more than me, obviously. Well done.
And the BJ Invitational for the week. Daniel, top scored for the Invitational with his 1142 there, followed by Bundy with just getting up over the ton. And then Dan with Badonkadonk, who just got over the ton as well. Maddie, he got a 984, and then Mana with a 920. Just getting up over Adro there.
Yeah, well done, boys. Bundy, I think, is having a career year at the moment. Well inside that top 1,000. Mana's still chugging away, churning away there. Danos, I think he finished in the top. He finished in the top 10 last year, so he's not having an amazing year in Classic, but good to see him bounce back on the bye. Big Marty as well. Shout out to Marty down there in 690, 850. Probably not what he wanted, but not too bad. I can't complain. I can't really, be critical of an 850 and 670 overall. 690 overall. I'd love to be there. Well done, guys.
And that's it. Quick one this week.
Beautiful. I will quickly show. So, boys, in the draft, this is only relevant to you guys, but the silverware has come in. So we've got the.
No, mate, you're gonna have to turn your background.
Hang on.
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
There we go, mate.
The silverware.
The
there
fucking
it is.
Super League logo on it, eh?
Oh, it's like I think it's the AFL. It's actually the AFL Supercoach logo from a couple of years ago. So, oh fuck me, I can't.
Yeah, just keep it in front of your shirt. So there you go.
So there it is. That's what we're playing off for in draft. It says
Yeah,
champion
no fucking
2021.
draft this week. I'm glad I don't have to fucking go through that trauma.
Supercoach there, and
So that is our premiership.
that's the ring this year. So that's what's waiting for the winner. If I win it, I guarantee you I'll be keeping it and wearing the fucker.
Well, you still got to buy yourself a jacket for last year.
No, I didn't know they were doing that, and there's the case for it. So you get a case, and yeah, we're all good to go now. So shout out to Supercoach rings or whatever they do. It's pretty cool. So
Yeah. But
all right,
yeah, so we had the jacket last year for the premiership, and obviously Brent took that out, so we didn't end up buying it. Saved himself a bit of cash.
Yeah, and I wasn't buying Kando one to come runner up.
Here's the thing I was thinking though, like, and thoughts in the chat. We've still got 24 people watching. Thanks for keeping up with the with the leagues, guys. I was thinking a ring is not good enough. What we need is a championship belt.
Well, yeah, logistically though, how are you gonna do it? Send it out to someone and then it's perpetual?
Well, I don't know. And that's the thing. And
no,
how much? I know those rings. They're not the most pricey thing. As impressive as they look, they're not the most pricey things compared to getting a championship belt made. And you know how much of a wrestling fan I am. Like, if we got a championship belt, it would have to look awesome. But I think a championship belt would be better for the Premier. Thoughts in the chat?
I think we'll do like.
There's Ado suggesting a trophy.
Some of those replica belts are like $400 or $500. I'm not fucking doing that.
And that's the thing.
Toy shop for like
under 100. I do have a toy replica in a Continental title. I think you've seen it.
Well, in another draft league, I mean, we do that and we write the winner on the back of it. It's a bit of a perpetual. It is pretty cool.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe if we get a championship belt, we don't send it out. We just mark it with the champion, and they get the knowledge of knowing that their name is on the belt.
Yeah, and I think maybe we'll do something with whether it's the Facebook page and have a bit of a Hall of Fame up there with the different leagues. We'll have to go back and find out who.
Fucking rigging the draft for yourself. It's
gonna
make it easy, isn't it?
a classic leagues and total points and head-to-heads and something like that for the people. Anyway, we've got the ranking this year. Yeah, that's $100 right there, folks.
Yeah.
So,
well, good.
Yeah, we'll talk about
luck to everyone in the draft. You can get fucked. I'm coming last by about 6 games. So
that's all right. I think Kando's down there with you as well, so don't worry about it. Yeah, good luck everyone this week. May the super gods be kind. May your trades be fruitful. I reckon I'll hold off. My season's just shambolic. I think I need to save some trades at this point. As much as it'd be nice to get.
I am just chucking the trades at and hoping that I jag some pods.
Yeah, I think I've said I'll save a trade for the last month and haven't done it.
I'm at the stage where there's no point in saving trades.
So. But yeah, good luck, guys. Whatever you guys, all you guys are performing much better than I am. So don't listen to me.
Yeah,
and,
If you are watching on the VOD, just look at the chat replay. You probably get better advice from the people in the chat.
Absolutely, and give the video a bit of a like.
Do you want to shout out the Facebook groups if people want to jump on those as well?
Is that the Turbo Hammies Cup?
Well, there's that, but I don't use Facebook, but
yeah, just be on GameDay if you're looking for us. We got a bit of a Facebook page on there, which is probably not that busy, but yeah, we'll post some stuff on there, which is a bit of a laugh. You can also find Bogan on Twitter at BJ on GameDay Show. I think we're nearing that 500, which I don't really know what that does for us, Bogan, but I guess it's a bit of a milestone number.
We need 9 more to get to 5.
9 more for 500.
So tell your mum.
Cool, I guess.
Tell your mum to subscribe. But unless you've got anything, that's it.
No, thanks for joining us. As always, guys, you're legends. All the best this weekend and enjoy Origin tomorrow night. You got a tip for Origin, Bugs?
Oh, as always, New South Wales should fucking win it, but they'll probably fucking choke and Queensland will win it again.
I don't think you can rule out that Queensland crowd. It'll be interesting up there. It'll probably be pretty warm. So, I mean, I'm hopeful.
I got
the
to
Blues,
say, mate, as a proud Canberran, I got to say, where's our Origin game? North Queensland gets a fucking Origin game. Where's Canberra's? Like through stadiums there.
Yeah,
Monica Oval. Imagine that.
Anyway.
Imagine Origin at Monica. Be fucking magic. It'd look good. It'd look
Take
good
it
on
back to
TV,
Seaford.
mate.
Take Origin back to Seaford.
Oh,
Anyway,
have it a Greenway.
looking forward to that. Absolutely frothing. Can't wait for Origin tomorrow night. So a bit of footy on a Wednesday night and should be an absolute cracker. Pretty keen and yeah, New South Wales 13 plus. You heard it here first.
Oh well, Ados in the chat has said New South Wales 20 points, and it's like on paper it fucking should be that. Like, but you can't write off Queensland as you said. But anyway, go the Blues. Fuck Queensland.
Yeah, and keep an eye on those team lists moving into the week after Origin, guys. Have a good one.